Let me say a special good morning to those of you listening to Classic Radio 105.5, 105.9 on the FM dial. Those of you in tune and viewing us via GBN TV, good morning to you also. Whether you're viewing Channel 7, Channel 11, Channels 20, those of you via our social media platforms, whether it's a Facebook page, YouTube channels, good morning. Those of you via GBN's webpage, gbn.gd, good morning. Thanks for being with us this morning. It's to the point, it's the 30th day of January 2025. And you know what happens on the Thursday when we hear on To The Point. We do have various departments within the RGPF, and with me this morning I have ASP Bascom with me this morning, and also WPC 45 Antoine, and our main conversation will be, of course, the arrangements in terms of traffic, security arrangements, etc., of course, and other conversation in between as relates to independence celebrations within the parishes of St. Andrew and St. Patrick. Let me say good morning to my guests, and good morning, good morning, officers, good morning.
Good morning to you, and good morning to your listening and viewing audience. Let me take the opportunity on behalf of the Commissioner of Police, the rank and file, to wish a very happy and productive year 2025 to each and every one of you in the Tri-Island state of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, and indeed a very happy independence to all.
All right, thank you so much. Any opening from you? Is WPC, Antoine, any opening for you this morning? Or are you just going to flow along with us?
Just saying good morning and thanks for having us this morning.
Oh, shortly, you're welcome. Let's kick the conversation off this morning with, of course, traffic arrangements. We know the independence celebrations, and we're talking more in terms of the outer parishes, St. Andrew and St. Patrick. That's what the conversation will definitely more surround this morning. So we're going to kick off with some of the main activities that will be taking place, and where I'm assuming the traffic and so forth will be tweaked a wee bit in terms for these particular activities that will be coming around. So let's hear it. We will start with St. Andrew.
Okay, yes. Right. So for St. Andrew, activities related to Independence 2025, we have upcoming the church service that will be taking place at the Roman Catholic Church in Crowshoe on Sunday, God's will, and then on Thursday of next week, please God, we have the extravaganza, the Independence extravaganza that will be taking place at the bus terminus in Grenville. Okay. So as we go along, we'll discuss the traffic and security implications.
So basically, that's more of the two major events
for St. Andrew. Yes, okay. Because we had the Calypso semi-finals that took place last Saturday in St. David's, and it went off quite incident-free and very well attended.
All right. So, I mean, we started it off with traffic. Mm-hmm. Any activity in St. Patrick in terms of events now that folks would like to know about, and then we probably getting to the traffic arrangements for that particular parish?
Yes, for St. Patrick's in Churches, to be exact, we'll be having our Independence Calypso show. That will be on Saturday 27th.
Yes. That's
Saturday Goswell at the Sutter's Bus Terminal, and that will start at 1900 hours or in our local parlance 7 p.m.
All right. So that's basically it for. Is it me or is it something else I'm seeing? Because is it my date on my internet?
Saturday the 2nd.
Saturday the 2nd?
Yes.
Sorry.
So I was wondering, well, is it the 27th? Yes. I'm just taking a peek at my phone saying, is it? Yes.
So, all right. Flying so fast.
I'm looking at the 30th before me, and I heard you say the 27th, so I was wondering, hey, what's going on? What's going on there? All right, so that's it for in terms of the major events. Let's talk traffic arrangements now, in terms of how the necessary, should I say, tweaking of the traffic. I'm assuming there'll be diversions and so forth for traffic arrangements. Let's kick it off at St. Andrew in terms of which particular event. But I'm assuming that the church service may not be run into so much of a hindrance,
yes,
right, in terms of traffic arrangements. But I'm assuming now when we go to the bus terminus, there'll be reasons to divert traffic and so forth because of course, the event that will be taking place there.
Yes, certainly. Right. So you're right. As you said, we don't anticipate much of a hiccup with the traffic for the church service, but let me just briefly explain to persons what will happen, what the arrangement will be like. Because of course, we have to make parking arrangements available inside of the venue itself for our specially invited guests and so VIP, because we expect, the Prime Minister, maybe the Governor General, and so might be in attendance. So their parking will be reserved on the church grounds, the church compound, and in the concrete area, right? So we're asking persons when they come into the venue, please, bear with us. We have limited parking inside, right? So we'll use up the area inside the compound for the specially invited guests. And so the public parking will be on the left side of the public road, facing the St. David's direction.
Okay.
So if you're heading towards St. David, you are allowed to park on the left side of the road. And of course, if we having parking on the left side, then it means by implication that the other side of the road has to be no parking. Okay. Because if you have double parking, then you create
and we know our size of roads in Glen.
Right, exactly.
All right.
And we don't want that here. So bear in mind, parking the left side of the road towards St. David's direction, the other side is no parking. With respect to the activity at the bus terminus, that is the extravaganza.
All right.
We want persons to pay attention, because we have to interrupt the natural flow of activities, because it could be understand that the bus terminus is basically the hub of transportation activities in St. Andrew.
Yes.
And the extravaganza is taking place inside of the bus terminus.
All right.
So it is a big operation that we have to meticulously arrange to make sure that everything runs off smoothly. So what will happen is that the extravaganza is expected to start at the Gladstone Road. We're starting around 1600 hours at 4 p.m.
All right.
That is, we start with a flambeau match. Yeah. Then we move on to Jubilee Street, on to Ben Jones Street, Victoria Street, and then make their way onto the bus terminus. But the entrance for the participants going into that venue, so the persons involved in the march and so, they would be entering on the side that we call the NIS building side. So if you're familiar with Grenville, you know
I think
there is a road between NIS and the box. You need to come to Grenville. There is a road between NIS and the box shop.
I'm still not too familiar with the roads. I always get tied up with the roads of Grenville still, but
okay.
I'm listening.
So right, so there you have on one side of the road you have the NIS building.
Yes.
On the other side you have the box shop.
Okay.
Right. That's under supermarket.
All
that
right.
little road
that
inside there. Right.
That I know.
So you go the VIPs and the participants will be entering through that gate.
Okay.
Because that gate is normally locked.
Okay.
But we'll be opening it for access on the day in question, right? And the VIPs will be parked. There is a little parking area right on the side there as you enter the compound. So that area will be reserved for parking for the VIP. And so of course, when people would appreciate that we have the traffic light that is right there. And again, let me use landmarks. Okay. So for persons that are not too familiar with Grenville would understand. The traffic light is right opposite Western Union and MoneyGram, Huggins MoneyGram.
Okay.
All right. So what we'll be doing is stationing police officers there, because we can appreciate that the traffic lights basically function with a timing and so. But because of what is happening, we'll have to interrupt the normal functioning of the traffic lights to ensure, that the march and everything can take place easily. So officers will be stationed there to manually regulate the traffic as needs be. So we are seeking the cooperation of the public to cooperate with the police officers who would be manually regulating the traffic on the day in question. So the parking for the buses, because as I said earlier, the terminus will be functioning as normal.
Yes.
So you'll be going inside of the terminus to do what you normally do, maybe fetch your bus and so to travel, right? But
so you're saying practically the bus service would not be interrupted?
No,
that would not be.
We'll just shift the location a little bit around inside the terminus, yeah. But it will be functioning within the terminus.
Okay, great.
So when you come, for instance, when you come maybe instead of seeing the buses on the paved area where you're accustomed seeing them, you will see them in an area we call the gravel area.
Okay.
But they will be functioning within the terminus. So you come inside of the terminus to fetch your bus as usual, because of course you would appreciate you would have to erect tents and so.
All right.
And the ideal place would be to erect it in the concrete area. But we'd have sufficient officers detailed to ensure that the operation runs smoothly, so that you who are using the terminus to conduct your normal activities, you will be able to come in, get in and get out as smoothly as possible, while the extravaganza will be able to take place. So it's a big operation, but we are comfortable that we are able to pull it off smoothly.
Okay, great. Understandably so. So that's it for most of the events within St. Andrew and their arrangements. And of course, and that starts, as you said, 4 p.m.?
4 p.m.
Is there up to midnight?
Up to midnight.
All right, so that the traffic arrangements. So, as you're saying, well, listening, so after the flambeau march, maybe there are folks who may have some concerns relating to that march where they use the flambeau and so forth, and I'm assuming they will be getting into the bus terminal area. Would the roads that were closed off for the march, would they be reopened now for normal use of traffic?
Okay, the arrangement will be in place while the activity is taking place.
While the activity is taking place.
The gate I spoke about, NIS and for entry, that is a gate that we normally don't use.
Understand.
So that is not a gate that the public normally has access.
I was asking in terms because I'm assuming normal traffic arrangement within the tongue of Grenville will be suspended in certain areas.
Right, so the police officer will be stationed there for most of the activity to regulate the flow of traffic as needs be.
As may be.
Yes.
And then after that, I guess the free flow will happen. Would go on. All right. WPC 45, I'm assuming you were talking to me about St. Patrick, more or less. Let's hear about the events that will be taking place up there. You didn't mention the events already. Let's hear about the traffic arrangements now.
Yes, so prior to the Calypso Monarch, the night, we be having a motorcade.
Okay.
That motorcade will start off at 9 p.m. at St. Mark's, that's at Victoria, and they will traverse the western side, come up to Cities. They be ending at the Cities bus terminal.
Okay.
So for that purpose, we had arrangements with the bus association. So they would relocate to the Breakwater project from about 1 p.m. that afternoon.
All right.
So that is in place for that purpose as a motorcade in the morning.
Okay.
And in the evening, with the buses still being there will be a one-way traffic will run from the whole of Main Street Cities.
Okay.
Main Street Cities, that starts more or less at the top of the police station, the Cities police station, right down to the bus terminal area down there. That whole
understand. That street I know.
Yes. And so persons would come in from there and exit at Lower Main Street, that's heading towards Coconut Road.
All right.
When you reach right down just before the bus terminal on the left-hand side, you exit off that area. No vehicle would be allowed to go up that said street from 6 p.m. That is the exception of the buses that come down and ply the route at the Breakwater Bridge. So when you drop off the persons there, then you could exit.
All right.
Good.
And that's basically that arrangement is for when they having the bus.
The Independence Parade.
The Independence Parade. All right.
Sorry. The Independence Monarch
competition. That's on the front, and that traffic arrangement will be implemented from 6 p.m.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Right, and then there will be a no-through road. That's at Lower Mali Junction. That's close to Shirley's Bar. If you're coming from Shantimel direction, it's that intersection that will lead you either to Lower Main Street Cities or Celis Mali area.
Okay.
So there would be a no-through road sign in that area. So no vehicles will be allowed to come through that area.
All right.
No entry would also be at the joint bar. That would lead you down to the bus terminal. So nobody will be allowed to enter that general area of the bus terminal once 6 p.m.
Okay.
So that would be most likely the person will be coming in to start the show. So nobody will be allowed to enter into that area. Yes.
All right. So that's basically that for that arrangements there. We drew for a break. Let's take it. And when we come back, of course, we're going to get into the security measures that will be implemented for the events coming up. Of course, so we get into that conversation when we return. Stay with us, folks. Don't touch your dial. It's To The Point, Classic Radio GBN TV. We coming right back. Don't touch your dial.
Are you ready for the ultimate culinary showdown? GBN presents Oil Down Fest. Oil Down Fest. Oil Down Fest 2025. Who will be crowned the Oil Down King or Queen? Oil Down Fest 2025. Saturday, February 1st.
Oil Down Fest is sponsored by Flow, Grenada Motor Club, Grenada Tourism Authority, Sandals Grenada, Blue Bubbles, Calico Shopping Center, George of Huggins & Company, Grenada Cooperative Bank, and Superb Distributors.
Take time and I write down all the things that I love on my island.
Classic Lighting Caribbean presents Everything Solar and LED, a classic trade show, January 31st to February 2nd, Grenada Trade Center, from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Come experience solar energy at its best through a range of solar-powered products, including solar multicolored floodlights, solar vision floodlights, all-in-one street lights, 3,000 watts portable hybrid generators, solar portable power packs, 48-volt batteries, and 6.3 kilowatt inverters, and more. And introducing our newest solar air conditioned units. Lower your energy cost with our range of solar products. Be part.
Noticed by our 138,000 plus followers. Reach a massive engaged audience ready to connect with your brand. No matter your business.
Welcome back once again, listeners, viewers. Welcome back. It's To The Point for today, Thursday, the 30th day of January 2025. With me this morning, we have ASP Bascom and, of course, WPC 45 Antoine with us this morning. We're talking traffic and security arrangement for independence celebrations within the parishes of St. Andrew and St. Patrick. And, of course, we started off the conversation in terms of the traffic arrangements for St. Andrew and St. Patrick's. There was something that, of course, WPC 45 missed a wee bit in her presentation as relates to the parking arrangements for St. Patrick's. She wants to highlight that just for those of you probably heading up to the parish and you want to know, hey, where can I park and where I should not park in St. Patrick's. So go right ahead and highlight that first, please.
Yes, so for the parking arrangements, you would be allowed to park along the Coconut Road, that's Lower Mali Public Road.
Okay.
Most persons who come to St. Patrick's, as it is for their juve, we would normally use that said area for parking. So it's the same thing. And even at the Breakwater Project, it's a big area that we allow persons to park inside of that area.
All right.
And
is there a no parking, of course, area also, or just?
Yes. So I remember we have no parking. No parking in the general area of the bus terminal.
Okay.
No parking on either side of the bus terminal, and no parking in front of that's what they call the joints bar.
Okay.
That would be just above the bus terminal. There will be no parking around that area onto Miss Alexis restaurants.
All right, and that's, of course, that will be in effect, of course, during the process of the event.
Just for the purpose of the event
taking place.
And however, there will be officers on the road. So if for one reason or the other that you're not certain as to where these places are, officers will be guiding you accordingly.
Which you will direct where you can park and not park.
Yes.
All right, great. Let's move on to, of course, the safety tip that you would like to throw to, of course, pedestrians, the motoring public especially, and of course, when these events are taking place, folks, sometimes the complacency rolls in, and there are folks for some reason come with the intent to enjoy themselves, and the safeties always seem to be minimal in terms of what they give their attention to. So I know there are tips that the RGBF would like to throw out, especially to the motorists and pedestrians, of course, when those events are taking place. I'm not sure who's going to take the lead in terms of throwing out those tips.
Right, yes. Certainly. So the first tip we'll offer to the motoring public in particular, we'll always advise carpooling when you come into those activities, because we appreciate that we have limited parking space in our country, a small island, and we have a lot of motor vehicles relative to our size.
Okay.
So we encourage carpooling, right, for one. Secondly, we advise you to park, if you're coming with your own motor vehicle, park in well-lit areas. You don't necessarily have to choose the only available spot to park. If it's in a dark area, then it might be inviting to criminals and so. So park in well-lit areas. Valuables that you don't necessarily have to carry, then please don't come with it. And then don't leave it visible. So you might take your purse, your laptop or so, and you leave it on your on the seat of your vehicle, and that vehicle might not be tinted.
Yes.
So somebody is looking and they're seeing this and it is attracting them. So please, valuables that you don't have to come with, we advise you not to come with them. Of course, we cannot overemphasize and ensure that you're authorized to be on the road as a driver if you're driving. Make sure you have all your driving particulars intact, your license, you're insured, you're actually licensed to drive and so. Because the reality is you would have increased scrutiny because we're having heightened activities, so you are more likely to encounter police officers who are going to be checking for those things. So you don't want to leave to come to an activity and you end up getting arrested because you don't have a driver's license.
And that will also help with the smooth flow of things also.
Yes. And we encourage persons, especially when as it gets later and so, especially our females and so you're moving, try as much as possible to move in pairs, especially when you're moving into secluded areas and so. So the basic tips, I believe once we do the basics right, then we'll be safer.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Well, I would like to add something. It's a family event, especially for the Independence Monarch.
Yes.
Most persons will come out with their family, young children and whatnot. So motorists, you need to pay more attention. If you used to pay attention before, you need to pay more attention now to the public. Persons might be walking by and they're walking with large crowds, so you have to be careful as to how you're driving so that you won't hit or knock down over somebody. So you have to be more careful, and as we are accustomed saying, don't drink and drive. Please, people, you're drinking, get somebody to drive for you.
All right. And in respect to the activities or the events in the parishes of St. Andrew, and I'm assuming there will be more heightened, of course, presence of the police in those areas. Mm-hmm. I mean, I also expect there will be the encouragement of for patrons of not wanted to come with any weapons, any illegal substance or that nature. It's our independence. It's not a reason for me to be walking with that. I mean, I'm not sure if there's anything you want to throw out in respect to that.
Yes, as you said, certainly. Thank you for bringing up that. We want to encourage persons, as WPC Antoine said, those are supposed to be family activities.
Yes.
Right? Let us be on our best behavior. We are celebrating our independence. It should be a time of heightened patriotism. We are now 51 years old as a nation. We're adults. We're grown up. Yeah. So let us act adult, right? Don't come and try to spoil people's life, as you say. And as you hinted at, the visibility, the police presence will be increased. So you'll be under more scrutiny. Right? And while we're on that, I want to also, again, take the time out to say to our legal firearm holders, we don't advise that you come into those activities with your firearms and so you secure them at home. If peradventure you're already in the location and you have the firearm, you can walk into the police station and ask them to secure it for you until you are ready to leave, because we don't want unnecessary incidents involving firearms.
Right. Another incident we may not put the attention to, with parents and children. There are times an event of that nature, parents may come a little complacent, of course, allowing their sons and daughters to go out to these events and not issuing enough warning, the do's and don'ts. Anything you want to say in relation to that?
Parents, I'd advise you to go along with your children.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason that you cannot make it, advise to get that designated person that you can look to. I can give a phone call and say, hey, my daughter or my son is here. Could you throw eyes on them for me, or ensure that they get the bus at that time? So you give them things to work with.
Yeah.
So you need to be back home if the event finishes at 10. You need to be back home by the time 10:30, 11, based on, I guess that's much based on what you're saying and whatnot.
Yeah.
And even warn them about the alcohol, because for some reason or the other, our children are getting more involved in the alcohol consumption.
Yeah.
And we want to stay away from that, because when you drink alcohol, your mind doesn't work as well as it's supposed to, so we make some kind of decision.
The decision that is not right for them. And stay away from the bad influences also.
Yes. If I could just add something to that, right? Also, parents, we advise you to, especially your children of very tender age, teach them how to give basic information to law enforcement.
So true.
For adventure you get lost. They're supposed to be able to say their name, my mom's name, my dad's name, a contact number. Or if they are extremely small, then slip it in a piece of paper into their pocket. So at least if they get lost and we were to find them, that we have something to work with. Basic things.
All right, yes. All right. Another issue too, there are parents who like to leave their young ones at home, especially, may not have the proper individual to supervise them at the time. Maybe a younger brother, so they may have the impression that they have the level of maturity. May have the impression they have the level of maturity to take care of them, but it's not always the best thing to do. So if you're going to leave the young ones at home, and if you think that you really have to attend these events, make sure these youngsters are properly supervised by someone that have the requisite, authority to control.
Definitely.
All right. Hey, folks, it's To The Point, Classic Radio GBN TV. Take a break. And don't forget, we're talking about the traffic arrangements, security arrangements, and so forth, independence celebrations in St. Andrew and St. Patrick. And, of course, we did throw in information in terms of the traffic arrangement for St. Andrew and St. Patrick. So, of course, patrons, when you get there, adhere to them. We also been talking about the security measures that, of course, will be in place, and the do's and don'ts that you shouldn't get into. For our listeners and viewers, if you do have a question or two that you may want to ask the officers with me this morning, feel free to do so. You may have some concerns that we may not have raised, and in the conversation this morning, feel free to do so. 435-2041. But before we take your calls, we're going to take a short break, and we come in right back. Stay with us, folks. To The Point, Classic Radio GBN TV. Don't touch it down.
Are you
Love Fest, who single, who taken, who looking, we want to know, and we're going to find out. February 15th is all about Love Fest. Quarantine Point is the place to be. Boys here alongside the Bad Squad Band going to be live and in living colors, up close, personal, and very intimate. So make sure and get your tickets right now. It's only $100, but if you're coming in couples, it's $180. So make sure and get our tickets right now. Ladies, it's all about you, right? We don't want everybody to come out. Single people, married people, everybody couple up. Just come out, man. We're going to have a good time, right? Love Fest is a place to be.
Here we go, here we go. Hey, celebration time. Well, let you believe.
All Down Fest is sponsored by Flow, Grenada Motor Club, Grenada Tourism Authority, Sandals Grenada, Blue Bubbles, Calico Shopping Center, George of Huggins Company, Grenada Cooperative Bank, and Superb Distributors.
Coming up, these chefs and mixologists produce their creative best for their biggest party yet. This steel band has been making a difference for over 40 years. An island filled with beauty, a vibrant culture, and an iconic natural attraction. Now, where can this be? It's all next on this station.
it's clearly documented that we have been having, as a planet, an increasing incidence of cancers. So remember, cancer is a genetic disease.
When you now look at somebody's DNA or their genetics, it can tell you everything about a person. So what we use next generation sequencing to do in particular is to look at hereditary cases of diseases.
Be viewing Caribbean Medical TV on this station.
Welcome back once again, listeners. Welcome back, viewers. Don't forget, it's To The Point here on Classic Radio GBN TV. And we're talking the traffic and security arrangements for the independence celebrations within the parish of St. Andrew and St. Patrick's. I did mention before the break, if you do have a question or two as relates to the event and the arrangements, that you probably, of course, may have an idea that you want to ask a question in relation to, feel free to do so in this segment. I see we do have a caller. Caller, let's take this first caller. Caller, good morning, and you're live.
Yes, how are you?
Pretty well. How are you doing this morning?
They're just taking everything quiet.
All right.
The WPC made a mistake there with the date, man. Tomorrow is the 31st, and Saturday will be the 1st, not the 2nd.
All right, but she did correct it, though. We did correct it.
Oh, you correct it, or how?
Yeah, we did have it corrected. Thanks for the observation.
Good, all right, then. Well, they're only having a wonderful discussion there, man.
All right. All right,
Keep
thank
up
you.
the esprit, man. Go ahead.
Have a good one. All right. 435-2041. Don't forget, you have double options of calling in if you do have a question or two as relation to the, of course, the events in St. Andrew and St. Patrick's. In terms of the traffic arrangement and so forth, you may be coming from St. George's, or you're coming from, St. David's, St. Mark, or those parishes, and you probably want a little more information that we may not have mentioned, or so a thought may come to mind. You feel free if you want to do so. Of course, SP Bascom, I want to ask a question in relation to, of course, there's always that issue after the event. After a particular event occurs and, folks are getting ready to leave and so forth, what's some of the procedures that folks should follow, especially after the event?
Right. So the first thing we'll advise is you check your surroundings. Make sure that you actually leave with all that you came with. So for example, you might have came with maybe, your folding chairs and so to sleep in. You might have, had some valuables that you left on the chair, and so make sure you actually picked up all that you came with. That is the first thing. But a big issue for us is, especially with our young people, we notice after these activities are ended, they like to stay around and lighter.
Yeah.
And especially if they have their own vehicles, and so they engage in parking by the roadside and playing a lot of loud music. We ask us to be sensitive. I mean, those activities are running into the wee hours of the morning. Be sensitive to your neighbors. After you come from the activity, persons, may want to go and get some rest. They don't stop, in areas and playing music loudly and so to disturb the neighborhood. That is a no-no. So we advise you not to do that. You came to enjoy the activity. The activity is over. Try to get home safely and get some rest and, get ready for a new day.
Yeah, that's so true. Because, sometimes folks may feel like there's that lime after the lime. The lime
yes,
after the lime,
exactly.
right? The lime after the lime. And that sometimes could be not always be the best practice,
exactly.
The best practice at all. As we move on, folks, don't forget the lines are open, 435-2041. If you do have a question or two you want to ask the officers this morning as relates to the arrangements inside of St. Andrew and St. Patrick's, it relates to the independence celebrations, feel free to do so. Or you may have a bit of a concern in terms of some of the arrangement that was mentioned, in terms of the arrangements that was mentioned by the officers this morning, and you may want to ask some questions as relates to that. Feel free to give us a call, 435-2041. That's the number. All right, so let's continue in terms of, especially within St. Patrick, that from Main Street and so that goes out to, of course, WPC 45 Antoine. After the celebrations up there, you understand that particular street, is there that particular direction folks be allowed to leave the event after direction in terms of leaving?
So the traffic arrangement would be as follows. As was earlier stated, down Main Street, out to Coconut Road until officers say otherwise. So even when you're leaving, you follow the same arrangements until maybe like a couple hours after, most likely when the officers remove the signs and whatnot. Because the officers would be there throughout the whole event. They would be there throughout the whole event, and even after persons start leaving, they will be at their location still until persons most likely clear out the area. Because at those events, like SP Bascom was saying, we might have the Prime Minister or other dignitaries, and we have to allow them to leave in a safe manner. So the arrangement will remain until officers give you that right away to go otherwise.
You know, the behavioral pattern of individual, especially during the events, is something always a bit of a concern. You maybe have a favorite artist, you come out to give your support, and so forth. Of course, we can't tell you not to, of course, jump and wait for whoever you want you're there to support, but I'm assuming individuals' behavior is always expected at its best.
Certainly.
Especially during the events.
Yes, I'm glad you raised that, because we would have a zero tolerance policy for persons interrupting the activity, and in the case of the Calypso the competition, trying to intimidate judges, and so the RGPF will take a zero tolerance approach towards that, so beforehand.
All right, okay, great. We do have a caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm just tuning in. Do you mean that the Independence Parade will be in St. Patrick or St. Andrews? Can I give him clarification?
No, we were actually talking about the activities that, or the events that will actually take place within St. Andrew and St. Patrick. I guess the main events for Independence will be taking place at the Kirani James Stadium in St. George. But we were primarily talking about what will be taking place in St. Andrew and St. Patrick this morning, in terms of the traffic arrangement and so forth for the Calypso competition and the other events within St. Andrew and St. Patrick. That's what primarily that we'll be speaking about.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Because she didn't from the start of the event. All right. 435-2041. 435-2041. I'm assuming everyone has maybe have understood, of course, all that we said this morning, especially folks in the outer parishes in terms of what's taking place. So I'm assuming everyone is happy with the arrangements.
I
hope everyone is happy with the arrangements. Anything else we want to, of course, throw to our listeners and viewers in St. Andrew and St. Patrick's that we may have missed a wee bit this morning?
What I'd like to say is that persons, we come into an event, yes, we come in to enjoy ourselves, but we can have clean fun.
Yes.
So you can enjoy yourself, but please be on the safe side. And if for whatever reason you have to get a police officer, there is police officer all around the venues, and our station is not so far from the venue. So if you would like to preferably go up to the station and make that report, or get the officers up to deal with it, then you can do that. Or make a phone call. Our phone number is 405-3143. That's the Telesford police station number, cell phone, and 442-9224 landline.
I hope someone has taken down those numbers, because you probably could be at the event and you're uncomfortable with that particular situation that may be occurring at the time, and you probably want to get the police involved. So I guess take a hold of those numbers also.
Because for some of the person that might be parking in Coconut Road, it's a way off from the venue that you may have to walk.
Okay.
So if, for example, you go back there and something or the other might happen to your vehicle, you might be able to call the police instead of maybe walking towards
that back
the
and forth
officer.
again.
Definitely.
All right. So they hope they take a note of the numbers.
If I could just add also, yes, because I did inform the public that we will see increased police presence. So just like to tell them, some of the areas they could expect to encounter police officers when they come to Grenville.
I hope we wouldn't cause them to divert.
Yes, right? So we'll be having motorcycle parade for the entire duration of the activity, going around the town of Grenville, and so to ensure that the traffic is moving smoothly. At the bus terminus, at the entrance of the bus terminus and the exit, and also within the activity, expect to see a number of police officers there. at Jubilee Street in front of the NIS. You could expect officers there, and they'll be there largely to assist you and so in getting in and out at the intersection between Jubilee and Ben Jones Street. Those are just some of the areas you expect to encounter officers. And I want to advise person, because sometimes you get irritated when you're at several junctures you encounter police officers. But it's for your safety.
I've been stopped there. Why have I been stopped here again?
But understand it's for security purposes.
Right.
Yes. So thanks.
Someone is asking the question if the officer could explain the laws and rules as relates to offensive weapons. I'm not sure if you want to respond to that in any way at all.
Well, certainly offensive weapon, the possession of offensive weapon is an offense, and a serious one under the Criminal Code of Grenada. It can carry both fine and imprisonment, and especially what has been happening in recent years with the use of offensive weapons, because we have a lot of those incidents where offensive weapon is used to inflict harm and even mortally wound others. So the RGPF traditionally we would have a zero tolerance policy to offensive weapon whenever we have an activity of this sort. So these activities will be no different. You come to the activity carrying an offensive weapon, or on your way to the activity with an offensive weapon, you would be arrested and expect to face the court in this regard.
All right, so I'm assuming there will be a zero tolerance as relates to that also. Yes. All right. So I certainly hope that individual will adhere to that, and don't get yourself into problems.
Exactly.
Don't get yourself into problems. Come out and enjoy the event, especially the Calypso competition, which will be a great competition.
You don't need a cutlass to have fun.
Zero. I think that's certainly not needed at all. And of course, I'm certainly happy to hear that the RGPF will be taking a zero tolerance in relation to that. Of course, if you hear about it now, it would of course deter you wanting to, of course, even think about walking on offensive weapon. You're coming out to have a good time, come out to have a good time, and of course, leave the negative attitude way behind. All right. Anything else? We may have to take an early closure for our program today, but anything else we want to do before we take a wrap, or if you have any closing contributions for what you want to adhere to this morning, Charles, before we take a wrap?
You want to go first?
Yeah. Anything in closing? Let's see from you.
Well, we at the Sutters Police Station, we're there to serve the public. And jump high or low, whatever the situation, we will be doing just that.
Okay.
So please come out there, have fun, enjoy, and just know that we're there waiting to serve you in whatever capacity that is. Do have a blessed morning, listeners.
All right.
So from me, I would just like to first and foremost say to persons, if you joined the conversation late and you missed some of the discussion, do not be too stressed. We would have press releases and so media releases being put out by the Community Relations Department of the RGPF, so they will tell you what the traffic arrangement will be for these activities. You can also go onto our social media pages and so on. You will find the information.
All right. And then it's a good thing you mentioned, because someone is just simply just asking the same question.
Okay.
If there will be, of course, information placed on social media in terms of who then maybe have remembered all that we have mentioned this morning.
Yes.
All right, so that's good. So folks, take a note of that. Yeah. If you missed any of the conversation this morning in terms of the arrangement, the traffic and so forth, the do's and don'ts, you certainly could go on to the RGPF social media platforms and get that information there.
And just to join with my colleague and say to persons, again, come out and have good, clean fun. I mean, as I said, this is our independence. Enjoy it, make it something to be proud of. Let our patriotism be on display, and let Independence 2025 be one to talk about for years to come. So I wish you a safe, incident-free Independence, and God bless everybody.
All right. Once again, ASP Bascom, I want to thank you very much. WPC 45 Antoine, I want to thank you very much also for being on the program this morning, for coming out and sharing information, and best wishes to both of you for the rest of the day. And if you don't get to say it again, happy Independence to both of you.
Same to you. Thank you.
All right. Hey, folks, with that, so we're going to take a wrap for this program for today. That's To The Point. Join me again tomorrow for another edition. That's what we say goodbye, folks. Have a good one. Goodbye.